At this time, we'll call to order the Finance Personnel Committee. This is August 12, 2025. Amy, roll please.
Alderperson Pere.
Here.
Alderperson Gantz.
Here.
Mayor Boyd.
I'm here.
Alderperson Kundinger.
Here.
All right, thank you. Item 2, approval of the minutes of the July 8th, 2025 regular meeting of the Finance Personnel Committee.
Make motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Alderperson P-Rock, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. Discussion or comments? Seeing we have none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, public comment on matters not on the agenda. Comments made during the public comment period shall pertain only to matters under the jurisdiction of the Finance and Personnel Committee. Anyone in person or virtually have any public comment upon matters not on the agenda, now's your time to speak. If in person, just go to the table up front. If virtually, just state your name. For the second time, any public comment on matters not on the agenda? For the third and final time, any public comment on matters not on the agenda, now is your time. All right, appears that we are good. Item 4, consideration and possible action on police request to spend $10,000 from unassigned reserves due to garage fire. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. Any discussion or comments? I know it seems to speak for itself, but is everyone okay with this? Everyone understand we had a garage fire? All right.
Yeah, I did not know, but now I do.
Yeah. So this is needed again to cover the garage fire because of the insurance and the deductible. All right, very good. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, consideration and possible action on police department request of overhire. We're going to have the chief come to the table, give us a brief overview of what he is requesting. Chief.
Good evening. Yes, so similar to what I've requested in the past for the overhires, I'm requesting the option or ability to do that temporarily in this particular case because we do have 2 anticipated vacancies that are coming up at the end of this year or in very early January. The exact retirement date of our 2 officers that we're anticipating hasn't been specifically determined yet, but it typically is either the last payroll cycle or the first payroll cycle of a given year. Just depends on their calculations with their retirement and all that sort of thing. So what we are hoping to do once again is in anticipation of those 2 vacancies, I'm looking for the permission to overhire so that we can get the new officers in and hopefully partially trained before those vacancies would actually occur. As I've mentioned in the past, it does take us 16 weeks of field training once the officers are completely hired, have the background checks, their medical, all of those other typical background things done. From the moment they actually set foot in our door with all of those pre-hire processes being done, it's at least 16 weeks before they're actually trained for solo patrol. So that's the reason for the request is I would hopefully be looking to hire somebody either late fall, early winter, or potentially within the first 3 or 4 months of 2026 for those 2 vacancies that haven't occurred yet. So that's the purpose of the overhire request.
Thank you. I see in here there's a 2025 budget hit of $19,000, correct? Do we have that budgeted right now, or how does that work again?
That is not currently budgeted, and that would only be in the case where they were hired prior to the end of the year.
Okay, so we would be okay then?
Yeah.
Correct? We've been down this road before. Anyone have any questions on the overhire? All right, I'd make a motion
I
to...
guess I do have one
go ahead.
general question more for how we budget in general, because this is great that this has been since the dawn of time that we have the hiring consideration with the overlap and getting everybody up on board. Can we carry, when we know these things, in the budget as rollover within the police department such that it isn't a special request?
We could certainly budget that way to have something built in extra for the police department or built in for a contingency for the city as a whole. That is not how our budget is currently set up. So what would happen here is if you approve this tonight, we would wait and see if it gets filled. And if they end up having an overhire, we'd wait to see what the cost was for the total of this year. So come January or February's council meeting, we'd bring back a resolution for that budget amendment for the unassigned reserves to be used to cover that overhire. So it is certainly something I think we talked about last year doing. We didn't make any changes for 25's budget, and it's something Kim and I can talk about as we go through the 26 budget process.
Because it's even hard to
Do you want to say anything?
think through that as an overhire when in fact we know we need the hire. So you're going to either be without and under and paying overtime, which has a cost to it, or you're going to be a little proactive.
It's preparing to have that backfill for when we have that vacancy, so.
Yeah, I just wonder if we could plan for it in the budget process rather than asking for the exception.
Sounds good. And I think Kim's writing that down, and I think Kim and Pam, and we'll have the discussion, and yeah, it's good.
I feel like we're getting better, but we could maybe even streamline it a little more.
Very good, thank you. To move this along, if we have any more questions or comments, I'll make a motion to approve the police department request for an overhire.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Cuniger. Any additional comments or discussion we have? All right. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, up next, I think this is the one we have. Item 6, consideration and possible action on approval of the Paramedic Reimbursement Program. I'm going to probably move to make a motion, move this to the next meeting because there's not a really snag, but there's some issues that staff is working with the fire EMS regarding this. So we're not really ready for this right now. So I'm going to make a motion to move this to the, I believe, September 6th. Was there a date on here? The next
9.
September 9th?
9, yes.
September 9th. I'll make a motion to move this item to the September 9th meeting.
Oh,
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. Any questions, comments? Was that all good then? That should work just fine?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7. Consideration and possible action on Assessor Services Agreement. We're going to kick to Carrie and Pam on this one. All right, let's go.
Hello, everybody. So in your agenda packet, we provided both of the proposals from Accurate Appraisal and Forward Appraisal. We had a team that of city staff that reviewed those two proposals and had quite a bit of discussion about various options. Because we had asked in our RFP for two options, one being the annual market revaluation, as we have done for the last 7 years, and one to provide us with a cost option for a blend, which would be a year of maintenance followed by a year of the interim market update. So we had that we were debating when we were going through our meetings, and then also just considering the cost differences because obviously with one of the firms, they've been our statutory assessor for several years. The other firm that submitted a proposal had conversion costs involved, obviously switching to a different provider. So tried to summarize that as best we could. Kim was a huge help to me in summarizing all of that information that we provided to you in the packet. So ready to answer any questions you might have for me.
So we're looking for two things here. One, to approve Accurate based on the terms that are outlaid
For the 1-year extension.
for the 1-year extension. And then the second one is you'd like some input regarding, we're currently in a 1-year reval, and then that or the, consider possibly the blended reval.
Right, so
with
the
maintenance 1
1-year
year and then redo it next year.
Yep, the 1-year extension for 2026 would be that interim market update or the full market revaluation like we have been
That would
doing.
stay the same.
Yep, but then we would go out for RFP again next year, you know, again, probably proposing a 3 to 5 year agreement. And going forward then, would finance and the council prefer to see the blend or the full market update every year?
We feel pretty confident in the 1 year because we would like to have a larger pool. So let's just do 1 more year and see if we can get a larger pool of candidates. So we were confident in that recommendation. On whether we do a full eval annually or every other year on blended, there's pros and cons. There's no right or wrong. It really comes down to preference in a lot of different areas. At the end of the day, you get to the same space. It's just how you get there is a little bit stepped. And that's what we try to explain in the memo, that we have been doing the full one every year for a while. So residents are at least used to it, even though it's never fun to get that letter in the mail. We know that. The difference with the blended is that the dollar amount on their value is probably not going to change on that second year, but it's going to hop even more on that following year. It gets you to the same place. It's just you're going up at a steady line on one and you're stair-stepping on another. As staff, there isn't a right or wrong. It comes down to preference. If the council wants any more information about them, or either the options, or has any questions, or has any insight on what they think would be great, we would take it. We're not asking you for a decision, but just some conversation and your initial gut check on whether one is better than another, or whether you don't have an opinion either.
So is status quo okay with everybody, which we have right now? Myself personally, I'm okay with the way we have it because the residents are used to this right now. That's my personal opinion. But I'd be persuaded elsewhere if someone has something else. No one wants to tackle this one, do they? I have not, I don't know about any of you, but I haven't gotten a lot of emails or phone calls. Carrie has, Pam probably has, Kim might as she moves forward here, from residents regarding, challenges to their assessments. So clearly we have that.
We do, we're going to hear from residents every.
Regardless,
I think.
correct?
We've definitely heard feedback that they do not like seeing these increases every year. But as Kim said, after a year's break of a maintenance year, I'm sure we'll hear
The same thing.
So I think it's unavoidable, that we're going to hear from residents about their assessments either way. But that's something, like Kim said, we don't need a decision tonight, but just a conversation so that we know as we go out for RFP for 2027 what we should be asking for. And then I should also mention that we have representatives from both of the firms here tonight that submitted proposals. So if you have questions specific for them, they're available.
Very good, thank you. And it should also be noted too that we do the best we can to educate regarding what an assessment means versus, real tax increase, all that stuff. It sometimes doesn't help a lot, but it's something that we can use.
And that's
it's very
something-
valuable.
Right, that's something that we did include in our request for proposal that we have received from Accurate, our current provider, but also asked for the proposals from anybody that responded to make sure that they have that education component so that they can provide us with that information that we can put on the website, put out on social media to help educate property owners.
And again, so this part is discussion only right now. So if anyone has any comments you want to make versus 1 year, a year in maintenance, okay,
Would
that's.
you ever hold a meeting with residents and ask them for their input and what they think? As far
To answer that question, I guess that might go back to 2018 when we did that in the first place. I can't recall how that unfolded when we opted to go to 1 year. I'm sure we
I do not
did.
believe that resident meetings were held.
No.
I think there was information outreach, but not an in-person meeting with residents like there is for a comprehensive plan where you're gathering feedback like that.
Could we do a survey or no? I do get a lot of complaints about the yearly increases. I wouldn't mind doing the 1 year and opening up the pool. I agree.
But as far as the other portion, you're saying because of
I
the
wouldn't
assessment.
mind the staggering because, I get a lot of complaints about the increase every year. That's, me. So.
I haven't gotten anything in a week and a half.
Oh, the person you're at?
Phone's not working.
I mean, again, it's something to explore.
Yeah.
We're just talking about
Yeah.
this whole thing right now. So if that's something you
Yeah.
think of, so be it, and we can look into that.
Well, and we're not making, obviously we're asking for a decision on the contract for next year, which is another full one. But on the blended, talk to your friends and neighbors. So you're right, you wouldn't get the increase every year, but it means your increase on that other year will be big. It's because if you're going 5%, you're going to get that 10%, right? If that's where it's at, right? If the market levels off, it's not going to be the same. So
Can you switch back at some point? Or no?
Well, it's all part of the contract. So if we had a 3-year contract and then we went out, we could switch back. You know, I think the one thing, and this is why this is not an easy decision, because there's a lot of considerations on both sides. Switching back, I think we're at the most conservative approach by doing it every year. It's the closest to real-time market. There is a cost associated with it. We pay more to have it done every year versus we would save some money if we went every other year. I think going back to every year is harder than going to a step, because you're going to something that's a little more intense. That doesn't mean you can't go back, though. We did that before. We weren't always at every year. In 2018, we went to every year. So, and maybe that, I think we can look into a survey. I probably, just based on where we're at, it'd be a very informal poll, so that would need to be noted that it wouldn't be like scientifically accurate. But talk to your friends and neighbors and maybe gain some insights from your connections. And we can also RFP it where we get cost proposals on both, just like we did this year as well. So it's not a decision that needs to be made today or next week or even next month, but it's certainly one of those things where we'd love your insight, because either path works.
I think that the question of timing or anything isn't going to address any of the issues. Prices are going to continue to rise. What the peer has to do and continue to do is show the value for the investment. And I think we do that well. We have a great school system on both sides of the river. We have wonderful public facilities and amenities. And I think that while there's always low grade frustration with it, myself included, when I get that letter, I like living here for the services we get. And so if any opportunity lies, it's for us to be able to talk as a whole about the increases in costs and what it's getting us.
Good point.
That's a very good point. You know, to go even further a little bit on that, but possibly different, I had 3 neighbors that sold right next to me in the past 8 months. Obviously, got a pretty decent price based on the assessed values that are current market. They're very happy. Now, for myself, being a comparable pretty darn close to where they are, that's going to obviously raise, and have an impact on myself. But generally, we find that those that are selling, this is a great thing. And I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit in that it's been the perfect storm the last and you're in the business, Alderperson Gantz, the perfect storm the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, we're just seeing double digit year in, year out. And, had we talked about this 2 years ago and had the same conversation, you're looking at 24% increase, 2 years versus 12 in the one. I mean, it just doesn't end. Now we're seeing it end a little bit. We're seeing a little smoothing here, and I say smoothing. It's not. You're still looking at 8.5%, 9%, which is historically high. If we can look at a 100-year window, you'd be looking at these 5, 6, 7, 8 years has a heck of an outlier compared to what it smooths out normally over time. So this is just me throwing this out. So we're actually in the eye of the storm, which makes a lot of this decision making that much more difficult, because we are, and we're not going to win either way. We're not.
Right.
But it's all very good discussion. I do like the input where we just talk to neighbors, talk to friends.
Right.
I'm not a huge survey fan, because they generally don't yield the results that you really want to get anyways. But conversing is a good thing, and we have time to do it, and we should. That's our job, Hopefully this will be picked up somewhere, and people will hear the conversations going on. And I'll guarantee you, if that's the case, we will get feedback, and that's okay. Alderperson P-Rock's like, oh, darn it. But that's good information. We need the information.
He
We do.
doesn't care his phone's not working. So.
Yeah.
I do have a question. How are the assessments done? Do they actually go out to the property as they used to do? Do they do them all electronically on the computer?
Yeah.
How do you
They're not
come
visiting.
up with the-
They're not visiting every property in the city. With the annual market updates, they're basically going off of recent sales of comparable properties. They do go into any new construction, anything like with an addition to a home or building, but they're not visiting every property in the city. That type of a revaluation, which we used to do, every 8 to 10 years, before we started this process. It's a huge undertaking, and I believe the cost was around $250,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A large number.
Yep, yeah. So those, those types of reevaluations where they're visiting every property are the ones you're doing every 10 years because you were about to, or you fell out of that 10% compliance range.
And we found that only about 20% of people open their doors.
Hang on one second, because no one's gonna be able to hear you. Why don't you go over there, or there's fine.
Okay.
Now, because she is technically staff, do I need to open this at all? What would you guys want me to do here?
No, we can stay as we are. We don't have to open.
Okay, you want to just identify who you are?
Yes, I'm Shonda Stahersky with Accurate Appraisal.
Very good, thank you. And if you'd
welcome.
like to address that question,
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted to say about 20% of people will open their doors. So with the cost value that is incurred with that, it wasn't great for municipalities because they don't have to open their doors to us, so we couldn't get the accurate data as it was.
Thank you. If forward appraisals, are you back? If you want to go to that table right there, if you have anything you want to add, it's entirely up to you. We can't hear from there, so if you want to come up, I know she's there.
If you have questions.
Okay, that would be great. We don't want to single anyone out here, so if you have something you want to
I should
add or offer,
mention-
that would be
Same
great.
answer.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
Same answer. Yeah, they get the same thing. It's very difficult to get into people's homes now.
Okay.
So I don't know how you guys do it, but typically when we are trying to do a reval with a community we've worked with, we will try to get into a certain percentage of homes over the course of several years. So that way, when the 5-year mark comes up, or
You've hit 'em up.
whatever the community is,
Yep.
you can say, okay, well, we've at least visited this many properties, and you kind of keep track of that. Same with properties that have sold, we try to get into them, properties that have permits, all of those count as visiting the property and making sure your records are updated. So same thing.
Thank you.
I
Thank
should
you.
mention too that anybody can request, a property owner can request that they have an in-person visit of their home, which I think might happen more often during maybe the open book process.
Yeah.
So not to say that because we don't try to visit every property in the city that you can't have an in-person visit.
Okay. Another question that comes up quite often since we have both of you here is what other communities do. And it really is just across the board, right? It's just all over the place. So it's not, you can, unless you have other insight, is that kind of what we're seeing here? A lot of cities, municipalities don't have their in-house assessors.
Correct.
That's kind of gone by the wayside,
Yep.
correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. I personally have like 32 municipalities. I don't think I've had one that had a full reval for almost 3 years now. Everybody's done the interim market update or the maintenance blend.
Okay. And then you as well
Yeah,
have
that's the same for us. So some of the communities we work in, we work with existing municipal staff. So like they might have 1 or 2 appraisers in the office, or they might have an assessor that we assist. It's kind of a mix of things, but they all have like different schedules. So sometimes it's every 3, every 5 seems to be the norm. Although recently, because of the market, they've all needed to ask, okay, we need to do this sooner. We weren't prepared for it because the market just skyrocketed. Yeah, we've never seen anything like it. So I think that's just been a common thing that's coming up now is, can we do them more frequently so we can stay in compliance?
But
Okay,
again,
so that's-
that market, the interim market update, not the full
Correct, not a
door to
full-
Right, that's
Right.
kind of what the answer we're kind of looking for. That's
Yeah.
kind of what they're trending
Yes.
toward.
Yep.
Because it's just, it's not good.
Yeah, I don't know anybody doing full, like attempting walkarounds, because you can attempt it, but you certainly couldn't promise it. Because as you mentioned, the return rate is.
Yeah, it's
Entry rate
kind
is
of a
pretty
waste
low.
of money for municipalities.
especially a city this scale.
Yeah.
We were talking like the 2000 Nakusas of the world. Sure, you can do a full
A walk
that's-
around,
Right,
yeah.
you can do that
it's
in a
small,
couple
you
weeks.
could do it, but
Right.
any bigger city, it's not going to probably be worth the effort and money.
Very good, thank you. Did that help answer some of the questions,
Well-
Alderperson Gantz?
And I do ask because I do get complaints that, my tax bill went up and they never even came out. They don't even know what it looks like. So that's why I asked. So if they do have a complaint, can they call the city and ask to have somebody come out and reassess? I know in Ashwaubenon they were doing that.
Depending on the timing, they can definitely call the assessor and ask them, they use the term flag the property for a site visit the following year. Like, say, for example, if somebody called now, it's too late to do anything about the 2025 assessment, but they can flag that property for a walkthrough the following year, correct?
Yep. So we do 2 sections of field work. We do early field work for any permits that we get, any new construction, to see where they're at as of the first of the year completion percentage. And then we do our final field work before we go and send the notices, do the open book process, hoping that the open book process brings them in to have conversations. I encourage everyone to come to open book. It's just a great thing to have a conversation. Oh, my square footage is wrong, or you have this, or why am I being compared to this, and shouldn't I be compared to this house? So it's just a really good opportunity, and if they can't attend those open book periods, they can certainly call me as the account coordinator anytime, and we can just walk through their property with them.
Thank you.
But again, we have to emphasize that even though the assessed value went up, doesn't mean your taxes will go up in
You know how many
correlation.
times I hear that?
Yeah, and I mean, I use mine as an example because Pam will tell me this is what yours is.
Yeah.
It's going up, 12, 13%, but I'll get the tax bill and my tax bill,
Yeah.
because there's 5 different jurisdictions feeding in, but it'll go up 1 point. It varies considerably per property.
Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't always equate to your assessed value when this is
same
what your
degree
tax
of
bill is. And we're trying to always get that out there because that's,
Yeah.
you have to separate those two things considerably.
Yeah, you had actually made a really good analogy about, kind of like a steady trend versus stepped.
Yeah, that
And
was a
we've
nice thought.
definitely been in situations where the municipality hasn't done a reval in over a decade. And that increase, sometimes 50 or 60%. Sounds insane, but if you educate the property owners before sending that out and they know that, and you can let them know in advance, hey, the level of assessment for our municipality is 50%. Expect your value to double. Don't worry about your taxes just yet. And I'm sure you guys have been in that situation too, if you let them know in advance.
Postcards, newsletters.
Oh, and we
All of
try.
that, and they have that understanding, and then, you can even, some municipalities that work with us to give like an estimator, so you can say, okay, take this new value, put it through this calculation, this is an estimate of your taxes, so they don't panic at that number.
That's good.
Even when you do, several years in between. So
That's
there's
really
there's
good.
way to mitigate that a little bit.
Yeah. I kind of like that. Always looking for ways to educate, be upfront, and obviously be very transparent
Yeah,
like we are.
Others.
Yeah. I know when the East Pere School District was proposing their most recent referendum, they had some kind of a calculator.
They did have a calculator on their website.
Yeah, so
I
you
believe.
could plug in numbers and see how much that was going to increase your tax bill if the referendum went through. So that's a good idea.
It's pretty slick. It's not a bad thing at all. No. Jotting these things down. Anything is helpful. Do we have any other questions or comments? Okay. I guess since we're going to vote for a bit, anything else you folks want to add? And then we'll probably shove you away from the tables because that way you're out in the audience. And you won't be there when we make the final decision. So you're all good? Okay, thank you very much, both of you. Thanks. Now, again, that was a good discussion. We'll, keep talking as we go forward here. We are voting, of course, for which one. And then the terms would be for the 1-year extension, correct? So I'm saying that all correctly here. We have Accurate with their price and we have Forward with their price. So based on that, I'm going to make a motion to go with Accurate Appraisal for the extension for 1 year.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Cuniger, with the hope that when we go RFP moving forward, we get more involved in the process as well. But again, thanks to all of those showing up. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Again, thank you very much for showing up and offering your insight. Thank you. Thank you. Where am I? 8. Consideration and possible action on 2024-2025 property tax bill preparation agreement with Brown County. Pam?
It's really no different than it has been in the past. So we're looking to have the county print the bills and send the bills, the same as we have done in the past. It's really just a matter of the contract specifically lists which dates, so we're bringing it back to you, and we'll continue to bring it back annually as we get these agreements from the Brown County.
Perfect. I see right now people are coming in to pay the second portion of their tax
We
bill.
do not take
And we
the
do not
second
do that.
installment. That does go to Brown County, and that was due July 31st, so I hope you made that payment.
So that's all done, isn't it?
It should-
But that's getting better, I assume. People are getting a handle on that. If they read the invoice, if that's what they elect to do, they pretty much should know, correct?
I would hope, but we'll still get people come December and January that are going to go to Brown County first before they come here. So, but yes, first installment will come here. You can always put it in the Dropbox. You can always pay online, but then the second installment goes to Brown County.
Very good, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the property tax bill preparation agreement with Brown County.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. Questions or comments? All right, that said, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Up next, cash and investments report. Pam, anything out of the ordinary that you want to share with us? That would be a...
Nope, we continue to keep the same balances in our investment account, and so the changes on the investments are really just due to market value changing. Interest rates have remained the same, so thankfully on this side, we're still continuing to see revenue that should meet or exceed our budget for this year. So.
Very good. So again, another good one. Yay. All right, thank you. I'll make a motion to accept and place on file.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. Additional discussion or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 10, 2026 budget status discussion. Kim, is this you?
This is me.
Awesome.
Thank you. Just a quick status update on where we're at with the budget process. This week, if they haven't completed them, department directors are probably working furiously because they submit their budgets to finance for review on Friday. So they are taking a look at where they're at today, what they may be spending by the end of the year, but then what they might need or desire for 2026. We generally advise them to go for generally an overall 0% increase. There are always requests, and then we layer in, once we know all the needs, Pam and her team are pulling all the data on the revenue side, and we don't get that until a little later, so we don't have all that yet. We do know that preliminary numbers from the DOR have our net new construction percentage at about 1.68%, which is about 0.3% higher than last year. That doesn't mean a ton all by itself, other than to know it's a tick higher than last year, but it's a bit lower than we were at the previous 2 years prior to last year. But it's one of those markers that we use. Once we have those markers, we'll be able to get a feel for what types of things we can pull together and use, and then also those recommended tax rate or tax rate options for 2026. If you haven't marked your calendar yet, please make sure to mark it for Wednesday, October 8th. That is our budget study session. You will find the process to be pretty much exactly the same as previous years. I am trying to follow along.
Are you going to get better subs?
Oh, yes,
Talking about-
yes, I
talking
am.
about the food.
Yes, better subs. Where were they
Something
from
to keep your
before?
It does.
Better food. Okay, that's good. If we want a budget approved, we've got to appropriately feed. I understand this. So mark your calendar for that day. The process will be pretty similar to what Larry did in the past. And then what I am going to do is convene a team of maybe department heads or a small group of people after we're all the way through the budget to kind of say, okay, what did we like about this process this year? Do we want to change anything? It works well. It appears in a great financial place, but maybe there are some small tweaks that we can make along the way. But everything is going as planned, and we're looking forward to October to go through the study session.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments while she's here?
Will it be at 5 again? Oh,
I put down 5. That's what we've...
I put 5.
I'm assuming 5. Yeah.
all right. It's
5 it is.
5 it is, with better subs.
Or different food.
Or different food.
We did well in food last time, whatever
Amy
we
is
had.
exceptional at finding amazing food.
I see what you
We
did.
had margaritas last time, so yep, we can figure stuff out.
Yeah, no, I mean, Amy, we're knocked out of the park for our second floor staff meeting, and basically the same budget for subs. So I have faith.
And this is different in that people graze
And
at
if you don't like it, it wasn't me.
people graze at different times in this one, so it's not a
right,
standalone
that's
sit-down thing. Yeah, so it's a little bit different that way.
I think you're saying you want the subs.
That's what I heard too.
Love the subs. All right, where am I? Thank you. Item 11, future agenda items. Anyone have anything? I'm going to jump actually to item 13 because we're not going to have to go to executive for this one. So item 13, consideration and possible action on the findings of fact and conclusions of law to approve the appeal of Chad Zeske, agent for Holy Smokes, as to the denial of his cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail license application. I'll make a motion to approve the appeal of Chad Zeske.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson P-Rock. Anyone have any questions regarding that? And that's the one where he had to prove satisfactorily that he,
Correct.
if you want to explain that, that's
Yes, so.
just a refresher.
Yes, from the last meeting, the committee recommended approval of his appeal and to issue the license contingent on him providing documentation of successful completion of his probation for the felony conviction, which he did provide to the clerk's office. I was able to review the sufficiency of it, so that license was issued. And then this is just formally adopting the written findings of the committee.
Thank you very much. Coming back now? Yeah. All right. That said, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're going back to item 12 then. Item 12. We're now on item 12, consideration of request by Haisan T. Williams, owner of Buddy's Breakfast Burgers, LLC, to appear before the Finance and Personnel Committee regarding the denial of his mobile food establishment application. I will now turn it over to Attorney Bungert to review the procedure for this item.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this process is going to feel very familiar, very much like the one we had last month. But I will start just with reviewing our procedural requirements for the hearing, namely that this appeal will be conducted as a quasi-judicial hearing to ensure that we have a fair hearing in both form and substance. Both parties are going to be able to present evidence and testimony. All those testifying, excluding attorneys representing the city and perhaps the appellant, will be sworn in under oath by our clerk. The committee will be able to ask questions throughout the process before we go into deliberations. After that portion is concluded, the committee will go into closed session to deliberate and then come out into open session and make a decision and adopt some findings of fact and conclusions of law. So a couple things that I do need to note for the record. The appellant, Haisan T. Williams, was given notice of tonight's meeting and is present. Yes, for this hearing, as is Assistant City Attorney Eric Erdman, who will be representing the city and city staff. Secondly, need to confirm that there are no conflicts of interests for any of the alders, that no one has prejudged the matter or received any communications for any of the parties. Looks like we don't have any, so we can move on to what the hearing process will look like. In the record, we do have the mobile food establishment application for Buddy's Breakfast Burgers, the license application denial letter, the appellant's resumes that were submitted, and a character reference as well for the appellant. Each of the parties will have 10 minutes to present their testimony and evidence, as well as any, present testimony and evidence for the committee's consideration. Attorney Erdman, on behalf of the city, will present first, followed by the appellant, and then each party may have an additional 5 minutes for any closing statements or rebuttals. Once testimony is concluded, we can then move into closed session to deliberate and then issue a decision in open session based on the evidence and testimony that was presented. And we will present a written decision this evening for approval that will officially conclude the process. Any questions from the committee at this point? Nope. Okay. Then we can move forward with Attorney Eric Erdman for the city.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't. On your thing, where did you find that? So I'm in.
I cleaned mine out.
It's in the other portal. But it would that always appeared for me too, so I'll go to agendas too.
All right.
Yep.
I will, I guess I'll just start with a general overview.
So as Attorney Bunkert mentioned, we're here on Mr. Williams' appeal of the initial denial. The letter states, the preliminary administrative basis for why that denial
She doesn't have it either.
was issued
Pause
administratively.
for 1 second.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm sorry. Would be just to pause for 1 second.
Yeah.
Technical issue?
I don't know that everyone has access to the information in the packet because of how we get to it on Civic Clerk.
Okay.
Carrie, could you come up and kind of help make sure that everyone has the right information in front of them?
I actually saw it by the printer, so I saw that.
Sure, I
but
know.
I don't.
How did you log in?
Which one? This one?
The whole browser. Just don't, or just how did you
You
go to your
said.
desktop?
How do I get to that?
Okay.
Now, do you have Civic Clerk on Jesus?
Um,
What did I do? There it is, the purple.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the purple. This is purple people eater.
and that was the bookmark thing that was right
Okay.
there.
And now,
Okay.
so
And then I'm there.
Is it down in here somewhere?
No.
Okay.
that's the secret.
Yeah, and I've been working off of the other one.
We'll go here.
Yeah, you got to sign into the book.
We'll go to packet. I do have
Shoot, I should have typed that earlier.
That's okay.
Type all that in? Okay.
Thank you.
While there's a break, I was curious, are my witnesses able to testify? Is that within the structure of the?
Yes, yeah, they will be able to testify. We can.
Sorry about
administer the
this.
oath, and they'll be able to present testimony.
Thank you.
Yep.
My tutorial.
Okay, so
I don't know if Amy has
Do
it.
you have
we're gonna
I know
do
your
the
login
break.
is for secret books. The reporter thing?
Computer's like slow, man.
See if I can get mine.
Okay, so it'll be way in the bottom.
Sure.
Get it out.
Taking a minute, yeah, hang on.
I can't, the site be reached.
I was on it.
Oh.
I don't know. But see, if
It's easier. I can try and print and just make copies for everybody.
We've got it, it's just, yeah, if I can get there. Like, I'm right there.
I'm gonna have to make sure I use this portal rather than I like the other portal better, but I gotta use this portal now,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right. Whenever
Okay,
this
so-
is confidential.
Okay, no,
That
but-
was the start.
In a
Okay.
confidential packet. Right.
This is
Going
Will not be in the other
the
environment,
other tabs was tonight.
obviously.
What you
Right.
are looking for.
All right, there it is. Okay. All right. Pamela, you're good?
I'm going in, yep.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I think she's gonna be in just a bit.
Find it.
Oh, no, okay.
Play the chapter.
My bad. When I was there, I thought we were getting all the stuff tonight or getting it to us like a physical copy. So that's why.
Oh.
So it's totally my bad.
When we, it might be, when we know we've got confidential stuff, it might be worth when we send an email to council, be like friendly reminder, there's a
have to
new
log
way
in.
to access this
Yeah.
information, here's how you do it.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, wait, what?
Okay, what?
Print it? Well, I'm not gonna print all of this,
Well, yeah, not all.
but I can go from page 108 to 117, right?
I can print it down.
No, I was just in here.
Where is it?
Down at the bottom.
Amy, are you good?
I think so.
You should be seeing everything then.
If I can print your attachment, then Mark can.
I know, thank you.
Just kidding.
This is not
So
the time to joke.
do you want to look at
Does it say confidential?
the confidential attachments?
Not there yet.
Technical
What's in
difficulties.
that?
Okay. So
Here we are.
the application.
We're all good.
We're good?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Well,
I
it's
just want
close.
to wait for the other alders.
Apologies.
I don't know.
It's new stuff.
Let's just do this.
So the question you're all gonna have is, why the heck did I just bring this up right now? I'm a bad person.
It's okay.
You didn't know. How would you know?
I just
Right?
figured we were getting stuck. Yeah, so that's, yeah, this is a huge eye opener. Yeah.
Is this it?
I presume that everybody was already accessing from the portal.
I will just literally dump my original agenda thing and just work off of my agenda too.
Oh.
Yeah, I was using the old one.
Yeah.
'Cause I
try-
like the old
try to
ones.
only use the purple button. And then the board.
Sorry,
I did mess around with the second one. It just is not that convenient for me. It's a little bulkier, but that's no reason
Wait,
not to
mouse
do
is
it now,
backwards.
So you'll have to scold me from now on for every meeting and say, use this one.
Reminder.
I can actually still do both.
Even though he's logged into the board portal,
Okay,
those documents that were added.
okay. I can go ahead and print documentation.
Is there
Amy can head out there, she said, and go grab it.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
want to print it out,
yeah.
grab it.
That's okay.
Carrie,
Yep.
can you look at mine?
It doesn't, it's not working for anybody.
Oh, it's not
Because there were,
working.
I don't know if it's something with the way that those documents were added, but they're not appearing even though it's.
I see how I smoke, I don't see the other.
Yeah. So even when you're logged into the board portal.
So
those
some
documents
people
are
sing,
showing.
but other people don't.
That
I
must
have
be in the settings. Yeah.
Something to learn.
Okay,
Sorry.
Oh, here's
that's
one.
okay.
It'll just
All
be a
right,
few minutes.
yes.
Oh, is this it? Maybe I did get it.
We can continue with the city's presentation.
Go down to.
Okay. S-
No, there's the public stuff.
Okay.
And we're preparing paper copies for those that
Okay.
can't access the documents on the portal.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Feel free to stop me if needed. I'll
Yes.
just do some intro here.
Thanks, Eric.
So we're here on the application denial. Mr. Williams appealed his application for mobile food truck establishment, and essentially what this does is allows for vending from city street right of way. The basis for that denial administratively was based on, and I'll mention this in the ordinance, which mirrors state statute. The basis for an application denial for a mobile food establishment may be denied among other reasons when the applicant's been convicted of a felony, misdemeanor, or other offense, the circumstances of which substantially relate to the circumstances of the particular job or licensed activity. So fundamentally, the big tie-in here is whether or not the convictions that were used as a basis to deny substantially relate to the circumstances of the particular job. So the criminal history, which we will discuss and have witnesses on, regards felony convictions for the following crimes: second-degree sexual assault of a child, arson, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and robbery with the threat of force. So the state statute kind of mirrors this, and it talks about same thing that I mentioned in the ordinance. It's not employment discrimination to refuse to employ or license someone subject to rehabilitation efforts for some convictions for an individual that's been convicted of a felony or other offense, circumstances which substantially relate to the particular job. Now, with that being said, the agency, so here is that this is all subject to allowing the individual to show evidence of rehabilitation and fitness in the licensed activity. And so he has the ability to do that. However, that evidence of rehabilitation and fitness does not apply to certain offenses, which are called exempt offenses. Exempt offense includes certain violations, including what we're going to talk about, one of the prior felony convictions, that being of a second-degree sexual assault of a child. One of the violations that's an exempt offense is 948.02, which is the statutory reference for second-degree sexual assault of a child. So he can still, it still matters whether substantial relation of that offense, how it relates to operation of a food truck, but the evidence specifically of rehabilitation, I would say arguably does not apply to that particular conviction. The other three it would directly, his evidence of rehabilitation, that one, it does not. So we want to narrow, your decision on whether or not that offense and the others are substantially related. So I just wanted to mention that out front, because it's a lot, it can be a little bit confusing, but as we're looking at it and we're talking about these offenses, I just want to try to mention that now as opposed to later. So with that being said, I'm going to call Chief Jeremy Moraski to talk about the background process for the police department for these types of applications.
Okay, if you would please state your name for the record.
Chief Jeremy A. Moraski.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Chief. And Chief, you're employed at the City of De Pere, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And what I wanted to do initially was just, could you explain the background process that when the police department, they receive an application from the clerk's office, is that correct? And they perform a background check?
Yeah, typically that would be assigned to a member of our records staff. They've been trained to do those background checks, and they go to a number of resources, some of which are publicly available to anyone, such as the Circuit Court Access Program. But then we also do obviously have access to private or proprietary databases such as the police dispatch system, police record systems, and things like that.
Okay. And in this particular case, are you familiar, did you review the criminal history of the applicant?
I did, yes.
Okay. And could you just generally discuss the convictions as you recall them and go from there?
Yeah, so both of the convictions are from some time ago, but there were two separate cases. One involved the 2 counts of robbery that you had mentioned earlier, and the second one involved the second-degree sexual assault of a child. And I believe that one also had the arson charge and the recklessly endangering safety charge, is my recollection.
Okay.
And both of those I found concerning, but in particular the sexual assault of a child offense.
Okay. And do you recall the dates or the general, or how far back those were?
I want to say they were back in the mid-90s. I want to say 1996, but my memory is failing me slightly, but I believe it was in and around 1996.
Yeah,
For the most recent.
Okay. And was it your opinion based on the background, or would your recommendation be to deny this license?
My recommendation was for denial, yes.
Okay. And could you explain why?
Well, as part of our background check, we're trained to look for, is it substantially related to what it is they're getting the license for? And in the case of a mobile vendor, it's difficult if we would receive a complaint to follow up on and investigate that, because we don't necessarily know where somebody's doing business on a given day. So with a criminal history such as that, if we were to receive a complaint after an event happened, first of all, we'd have to figure out, what was the vendor there, the nature of the business being mobile, and the concern that goes along with somebody with that on a prior criminal history certainly gives me concern or pause.
Okay. And your position is the same today, that you'd recommend denial?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Those are the questions I have for Chief at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have any other witnesses you'd wish to call at this point?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
I'll let Mr. Williams go, and I'll talk to him about that too. But yep.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, Mr. Williams, if you wanted to come up. And it's up to you whether you want to present first or whether you kind of do intro statements and then you can call your witnesses and they can be sworn in. But if you'd like to go first, and then the clerk will swear you in.
Okay. If you would please state your name for the record
Haisan Williams.
and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
You can proceed.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
I guess my first, I would love to, am I allowed to ask a question of the chief at some point, or is that permissible? Or I'm not to examine or anything. I just had, his comments were succinct and on the mark. I just didn't know if I could follow up with a question.
Sure. If you'd like to, yes, have the opportunity to question the chief, that's possible.
It was, thank you, Chief. The only real question, and you addressed it initially, but you said the only information that you have based on denial are from matters that happened about 30 years ago, correct?
25, yeah, approximately.
Okay.
The convictions, yeah, he talked about
the convictions.
Yep.
96 was the last offense. I just wanted to clarify that. Nothing from this millennium.
I'm sorry, what?
You relied on nothing from, say, the 2000s or...
Well, I did come across some additional information from past that date, yes. I did, but that wasn't a separate conviction, but there was additional information since 1996, yes, that I did consider.
Okay. I just wanted to get that cleared up.
All right. Thanks, Chief. You can proceed. Mr. Williams.
I want to first thank the mayor and the alderpersons and all present parties for allowing me to speak. I'm here to show that my past convictions and the city attorney kind of laid out the framework of the substantial relationship test. I understand that we are all here because of something I did that I am responsible for, have been held responsible for, and have moved on with my life with that responsibility in sight. And so I don't think this is anything other than that. My conduct brought forth the requirement for this hearing, and I understand and accept that. However, that conduct is 30 years. I'm removed 30 years from that conduct, and while I don't claim to be a saint, I have not reoffended, nor have I engaged in the type of conduct that would even lead to the belief that I would reoffend. And I'm going to stick to my notes because I really want to be succinct here, because the way I understand it, and I am not an attorney, but I have dealt with this matter before in an employment situation where a job offer was rescinded because of my background. There was no substantial relationship. The DWD is representing me, and that's a matter still out for being judged on. But I understand, I believe the matter insofar as that standard, the prongs. And so I want to just address those prongs quickly, succinctly, and let you folks make the decision you need to make. The three prongs that I'm looking at are the substantial relation test are the circumstances of the offense. And those were, again, nearly 30 years ago. I've been out of prison since 2013. Again, it hasn't been the smoothest ride, but eventually things worked out and I've been able to overcome the obstacles involving someone with my offense history and build an amazing life. I have an amazing life. But the test is to look whether or not the facts, events, and conditions are materially related to the course of action I intend to engage in currently, specifically running my food truck. I understand there's no one in this room more ashamed of my offense history than myself. I have done everything I can to move beyond it, and I know that hearing the label and title of my offense strikes a chord in anybody. The details, there's no need to go into that, but I did it. I'm completely guilty of that, and that stated, being this far removed from it, I don't know how much bearing it has insofar as the operation of a food truck and the substantial relationship between the day-to-day operation of a food truck. The circumstances of the job, which is the second prong of the test, is that I do have a description of the day-to-day operations of a food truck, and I'll submit it to you folks if you want to, when you convene privately, you can look it over. But I'm just going to go through the list of the things that are a day-to-day part of what I do in my food truck, and prep food and make sure it's done safely. I'm Serve Safe qualified, which is required for the Department of Health. Take care of inventory, ordering, take care of, I pretty much do everything with regard to operations. I do all the ordering, take care of the financials, cash handling. My wife obviously helps with running to the bank when we need to. And I do all of our marketing, social media, customer service, all that's done. The relationship, insofar as my duties, I failed to see from my acts in 1996, insofar as the following. I operate a food truck. My goal is to get people to see me. There are no opportunities to have or seclude or do anything untoward with regard to offending anyone. That is not my goal. Obviously, I didn't invest the money I invested in to get in the position to own a food truck and do all the licensing to create a situation to create a victim. That's not at all my intent. Again, I spent 23 years, 1 month in prison. I'm trying to earn enough money so I can still retire at a decent age. And I'm working my butt off for it. That's all I'm trying to do. And being as publicly observed as a food truck operator would be, there is no relationship. My offense occurred on North Blisby Road in a vehicle isolated from where anybody could hear, see, or otherwise I could be held accountable in that way in that moment and in time. I'm very transparent, and if the chief can ask, the peer application asks for 5 years of offense history. I submitted my entire offense history with the dates of discharge because I believe in transparency. I could have kept my name off of the application and just use my wife's name or use our LLC name. I'm all about transparency. The city of Green Bay, where I committed my offense, I consulted with them throughout this process. I wanted to make sure that I could legally and lawfully engage in this business opportunity, this endeavor. And that's all my, so the examining that through the prongs of the substantial relationship, again, you're talking about a public-facing business. It's a 14-foot food truck. I park at gas stations, places of business, any place that'll hire me. I was just at Paper Mill today, and all I'm trying to do is sell food. I've worked in De Pere as a server. I live in De Pere. It seems interesting that I can't own a business in De Pere. I don't want to argue the legalese because I'm not a lawyer, don't claim to be, and I respect the city's position. Everyone has a job to do. That stated, I strongly disagree with the city's position. I don't believe there's been a stated public safety matter raised. And I would also contend that the one thing I'm not going to do is try and sell the committee on who I am today. I've done it repeatedly since my release. I have been answering for a single act, a single group of actions over 30 years ago. I don't even know the person that committed those offenses anymore. But I sit here answering for it because it's me. And the distance between that person and me is so vast that I can't even put myself where it was acceptable, that conduct. And so to go there now to try to explain it or to otherwise diminish it, it doesn't seem like it would accomplish anything. And that's not, again, what I'm trying to do. I'm not here to convince everyone that I'm a great person. I'm appealing to you all as a citizen to help me stand up for my rights. Each of you are public servants. You're administrators of the city, and I don't think I'm a victim at all in this circumstance, but I do think that the city of De Pere is doing me wrong. There is no relationship from 30 years ago to now. I did submit my resume, and while I have to give my wife credit because one of the things, because she knew what my past was, is she always points out that you can either build your record or your resume. And I've been building my resume since 2013. And I'm not going to sit and pat myself on the back for anything that I've accomplished because that's what I'm supposed to. Judge Richard Dietz, who sentenced me in 1997, the late Judge Richard Dietz sentenced me to a sentence that, while the truth is I probably deserved more time, I can't speak to that. Someone would say that, but he gave me a sentence that was long enough to punish me, but allowed me an opportunity to recover from what I did and make a better showing for myself. And with regard to Judge Dietz, with regard to my victims, with regard to the people who were affected by my offense, I don't claim to be perfect in any way, but my efforts post-incarceration have spoken to more of my resume than my record. And my wife and I are committed to adding value to the places we are and the things we do. And again, I don't want to sit here and sell Haisan as a great guy because I don't claim to be that. But what I do claim to be is a guy who's not looking to do anything but provide for myself, my family, maybe be able to go see my granddaughter a little bit more. You have my resumes, you have my performance resumes. I have an award that I won as a peace educator. It was taken away because of my offense history, but they did appreciate the work that I done. The goal here is to be allowed to operate my business and not be in conflict with law enforcement or city officials, to add value to our community and be involved with the city of De Pere. The city of De Pere has embraced me since we purchased our home here in 2022, and I feel this is my home. And I want to do everything I can to add value and be engaged in my home. I believe the law is clear with regard to substantial relationship. And I don't believe that a person, even if you're looking for fault from my past, one would have to stretch a long way to find even a casual relationship between the dynamics of my offense and the operation of my food truck on a daily basis. And in that regard, I don't believe that there is any substantial relationship, and thus the denial of our permit should be overturned and I should be allowed to operate as any other citizen in the city of De Pere. Nearly 3 decades have passed since my conviction, and I've rebuilt my life. I've earned my degrees. I work in positions of trust, and I've contributed to my community, and there is no material overlap between my offense and operating a food truck. I respectfully, all of you, thank you for your time, and actually you base your decision on law and fact, and not the stigma of my offense history. Again, I appreciate you all, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions?
I do not. Anyone have a
point?
question?
I have one. You do operate in Green Bay?
Yes.
Are there any other areas where you hold a license other than Green Bay?
The city of Green Bay, Howard is pending, and I have an event in Oshkosh. I got to check my email. I don't know if I'm required to have one for that area for 1 day of operation, but every place I operate, I always check because of my past. I try to be very thorough and make sure we're checking all the boxes.
Do you have a physical location and not a mobile location?
We have a home base, which is required, and that's at La Katrina right down the road. I live right down the road, so it's that's my home base, and then I operate out of that base to go wherever I really want to go.
Right over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Speaking of which, if y'all are looking for food for your event, you got to call Buddy's Breakfast Burger. We rock it.
There you go.
All right, if there are no more questions, Mr. Williams, if you wanted to call any additional witness at this point, you could do so, unless this concludes your...
I do have 2 witnesses online and then
Online?
2 witnesses present.
Okay.
Would I be able to ask him questions?
Yes,
at the end?
absolutely.
At the
Sure.
end, if you want.
Sorry.
No,
Yes.
that's okay. I didn't want, if I should wait.
No, that would probably make more sense.
Okay.
Yes, Attorney Erdman
Okay.
can proceed with any questions.
Yeah, I think, so he's right that the substantial relationship test refers to the circumstances of what he's been doing and then also the circumstances of those prior convictions. So I think in terms of having, sunlight on the circumstances in more detail of what those convictions were, I want to ask about the 1996. There were 3 charges that you were convicted on. One was second-degree sexual assault of a child. One was arson. One was first-degree recklessly endangering safety. Could you describe the circumstances in more detail of those convictions, of like the background and what happened with those? And again, that's part of the substantial relationship test. That's why I'm asking it.
I have to the committee, the details of my offense are ugly. No one needs to hear them I don't know what kind of detail you want, but that's not at all what I'm here for. I've been held accountable and answered to this conduct on many levels. And if the committee demands an answer, I'll give it freely and willingly. I'm just questioning whether it's germane or not to what we're doing here.
Can you say, was it somebody you were in a relationship with?
No.
Or what? Okay.
It was not.
Okay.
It was a friend of a friend.
Okay.
And without going into too many details, I took advantage of a younger person who was curious about engaging in adult conduct. And I used that curiosity to accomplish my self of goals.
Okay. Do you remember how old the person was?
The person was 15. I was 25.
Okay. And how long were you incarcerated for?
17 years, 3 months, and 12 days.
Okay. Okay. And then was there any probation involved after
Parole,
discharge?
and under the law I'm sentenced under, the bulk of 2/3 of my sentence is served incarcerated. The remainder is served on parole.
Okay. Did you have any holds placed on probation
Yes.
or parole? Okay. Could you describe that, please?
I had several holds placed on me.
Okay.
For different rule violations, from, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My first hold was for handing out business cards at the probation office. Someone said I approached them inappropriately, but we were going to the same place, so I don't know how I followed that person. Let's see, I failed a polygraph. I had a relationship with someone I didn't report to my agent about.
Okay.
And oh God, my wife and I got married, and they put me on a hold and polygraphed me. If there's something specific, like my parole was revoked in 2018, and my parole was revoked for knocking on my tenant's door The rule violation was for having contact with a minor because her minor child answered the door.
Were police ever called in relation to any of the probation holds or anything like that?
Called insofar as investigating?
Or just helping with, was there ever a disturbance that led to law enforcement involvement in any of the probation?
No, that I've been involved with?
Yes.
I haven't had any criminal conduct. The contact that I've had with law enforcement has been through probation parole, and they executed the arrest. I was taken into custody from probation parole.
Okay. And was there other law enforcement that was involved in that besides probation and parole?
Well, the Green Bay City Police.
Okay. That's
they did transport.
Okay. Yep. Got it. Okay. And then the 1991, obviously, again, far back, but those were for robbery with threat of force, party to a crime. Is there any circumstances that we can discuss related to that?
I walked into a Domino's pizza place with a handgun, and I pointed at the clerk, and I took the money out of the drawer.
Okay.
I walked into a Norfolk, Wisconsin paper mills credit union with the gun, pointed at the clerks, 2 clerks, and took the money out of their drawers.
Okay. And did you serve a prison sentence for that?
Yes, I served 4 years, 4 months.
Okay. And was there any probation after that? Or?
Again, as the structure of the sentence, what's the balance that is not served incarcerated is served on parole.
Okay.
And I did serve that. I reoffended, and so that time was eaten up by the 25-year sentence, which we're discussing now, and I discharged on that maybe 10 years ago.
Okay. And you may have mentioned this, I apologize. You were discharged from the 1996
Yes.
as well? Okay. So you're successfully completed.
I voted last November for the first time.
Okay. For fallout from the 1996 conviction, are you listed on the lifetime sex offender registry? And you're registered? Okay. Okay. Those are the questions I have at this time. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Williams, if you do want to proceed with those witnesses, it's your preference as to whether you'd want to.
Tony, could you speak, sir? You're on mute right now.
I'm there.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
This is Tony Lukey, and I don't know how much time you have. They can advise you on that, but I'm not going to ask you anything other than what you know. What you think may be relevant to this hearing. You've heard the entire matter, and if you'd like to speak, be heard now.
Sir, sir, before you proceed,
yes.
I do wanna just swear you in really quickly. If you could please state your name for the record and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm?
Camera.
Yes, no, we
Name's
see you.
Anthony Ludke.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can proceed. Thank you.
Thanks. Haisan, did you want to ask me anything, or am I just stating?
Right. So this is the time for you to be able to present any testimony in relation to this appeal.
I met Haisan. It's a little better than probably 8 years ago. I was manager at Ridgeway Trailer. He had been working, he was currently working multiple businesses as a food service person, a waiter and what have you. And he was just looking to, make a living, that's all he was looking to do. And this was a man that was, busting his hump, doing basically what he's looking to do for himself now in the food service industry. I think the only difference, honestly, is, if you want to say it's mobile, so be it. But other than that, food is food, and, serving people food it's the same. I don't care where you are, whether you're in a fancy restaurant, a McDonald's, or in a food truck, it's the same thing. The only thing different here is him wanting to be the owner of it and better his life, I think. I don't see him as a detriment to anything, anyone. He's been an upstanding citizen. He's an outstanding worker. He's a personal friend to this day. I don't know that I can say enough about him, and I don't feel he's being treated fairly in this. I get it. It's a severe, situation. What he did, I feel he paid for it. And this is why we release people, He paid for his crime, and now he's just trying to make a living. Why can't we just let him do that? That's about all I have to say, I think, unless anybody's got questions.
Any questions from the committee?
No, I have none.
For the witness?
Nope.
Tony Erdman for the city? No questions. No questions, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, Mr. Williams.
Mr. David Carlson, please. He's also online.
Mr. Carlson, if you would unmute yourself. We cannot hear you.
You're muted, bro. I could ask Christopher Conrad to speak if there's a technical issue he can work out. I don't want to waste anyone's time.
Sure, if you'd like to proceed with your next witness.
Okay, if you can hear me, Dave, see if you can get that tech worked out. We're going to get a couple more speakers and come back to you.
You can call in too.
Good evening.
Good evening. We will have the clerk swear you in really quickly.
Hello. Please state your name for the record
Christopher Conrad.
and you've got your hand raised. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm also not a lawyer. I'm an accountant. So when Haisan told me there was a finance committee meeting tonight, I jumped at the opportunity. I'm not here to talk about the law. I'm just here to talk about my friend, the man I know. I first met Haisan 10 years ago in 2015 when I was still in college. At the time, we were working together at Nakashima's of Japan. It's something else now. We became friends after work over games of chess, Scrabble. Over the years, he's been more than a friend. He's been a mentor to me. He's pushed me to see my own potential. Because of his encouragement, I finished school, earned my bachelor's degree from UW Green Bay. In 2018, he married his wife, Tammy. She's a Green Bay public school teacher. Haisan is a father himself, and just recently a proud grandfather. In 2022, he and Tammy bought a home right here in De Pere because, this is where he wants to live, work, and invest in the community. For the past decade, I've seen nothing but kindness, responsibility, and commitment to lifting up the people around him. I'd ask the committee for a motion to reconsider their decision to allow him to operate his business in his own community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
I have none. No.
Nope. Any questions from city staff? No. Nope. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Floor is still yours if you have another witness you'd like to
Of
call.
course, my lovely wife, Tammy Connoisseur Williams.
Hello. You can remain standing and the clerk will swear you in.
If you would please state your name for the record
Tammy Connoisseur Williams.
and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here. I am married to Haisan. We met at the dog park. We were walking our dogs and we met there and I did a photo shoot for him and we hit it off. I don't like public speaking at all. Put me in a classroom and I'm great. I'm here to support my husband and our business. We're building this up and it's a lot of fun. We worked really hard today. and we worked together. We're still here, still married after working together. It was fun. It was like The Bear, if you've ever seen The Bear. But I met Haisan. I looked him up. I actually took his photos. He hired me to be his photographer for him and his dog. So I knew his past before he told me. Instead of a payment, I asked him out for sushi as payment. And then he wanted to share his past. I heard his past, he told me, and then I let him know I already knew that. But I wanted to hear what he had to say as part of integrity. He's always been honest and forthcoming and, has a lot of perseverance for life and goals, and I appreciate that in him. So I'm just here to support him and appreciate that you're hearing our side.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee?
I do not, thank you.
Nope. Attorney Erdman? Nope, no questions. All right, thank you.
Could we try David Carlson one more time?
We can. He is.
Dave, is your
still
tech working, buddy?
Still on
No, you're still on mute, man.
Can't he? Just call her.
Can try calling in.
There is a call-in option, if you see that, if you want to try.
You can hear us, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
The mute's off.
Dave, say something because their mute button's off. Or did he just freeze up?
He may have frozen.
Oh, wonderful technology.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be, huh? Might be trying to call.
Can I just call him and put him on speakerphone or something?
There is we do need to have it recorded,
Sure.
right, on the record.
I understand.
But if they can connect
He
with
did,
him
but
to
if
say
they
call
if they
in.
do connect, there is a call-in feature.
Thank you.
So at this point, while we're waiting to see if your witness can connect, are there any other witnesses, or that would be your last remaining? Okay. We can move on to kind of closing statements, and we can always resume additional testimony from your witness if he's able to successfully connect. So I will hand that over to Attorney Erdman for any additional comments that he may have.
Yeah. These are hard, for the applicant. I mean, the city. I mean, we're not in the business of, trying to deny people without a basis, and these are difficult decisions. And like we've talked about, the substantial relationship factor, and as a framework for making the decision, hopefully this is helpful. The way we look at it, and I think through case law too, it exists. Substantial relationship exists if the circumstances of the workplace would present an unacceptable level of opportunity for the person to reoffend in the workplace. So that burden's on the city at this point to show that. And in making that determination, look at the character traits, consider the from the convictions, if you can gather any, consider the seriousness and the number of the offenses, how recent the conviction is, and whether there's a pattern of behavior. So I would just encourage you to think of it that way for the substantial relationship test and how it relates to the operation of a mobile food truck. These are from two different instances, for five convictions, two different instances, one of which is considered an exempt offense from, the rehabilitation analysis, which was the second-degree sexual assault of a child that we discussed and got some more background on. So one of those is serious enough, regardless of how long ago it was, to be exempt from the rehabilitation analysis and subject only to the substantial relationship test. All the other ones are subject to the substantial relationship test, and the other ones outside of the 94802 assault case or conviction are subject to rehabilitation. So he clearly has turned it around. He clearly has done a lot of good in the shorter term. But when you're looking at the seriousness of the history, that is one factor to look at with the substantial relationship. So I encourage you to look at it that way when you're considering all the steps, admittedly, that he's taken to do, it sounds like the right things, since then. So, but again, the big difference here, and I should mention probably, he does have the, Mr. Williams does have the Department of Health food license already. He has a home base that he has a license for on private property that he mentioned at 310 North Wisconsin. The license that we're talking about is for mobile, so he would be able to vend from right of way and be able to travel. And Chief talked a little bit about some of the difficulties inherent, obviously with somebody that's stationary already. So, we're talking about the differences with what he has and what he's looking to do. Those are the differences. So, and whether or not he's rehabilitated and whether or not they have a relationship is it's a hard decision. I know that. So, that's it.
All right, thank you. Any additional questions from the committee for?
Just one question. So if he has the home base, can he have the mobile food truck at his home base?
Yeah, there's nothing that I'm aware of that would not allow him to have it at his home base.
Okay.
He has a food prep license through health. There's no background check related to that. The mobile establishment license that we're talking about is for vending in the city right of way.
City right away, but he can have the mobile establishment in his private
Yeah,
property. On
that
his private-
is
I'm not
that
sure what
is
his private property is, but I'm just trying to get some
Yep.
clarification here. Okay.
Yeah. That's my understanding and belief is that this does not impact his health department license at all.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams, do you have any?
Excuse me, this is David Carlson.
Sounds like your buddy's in.
Okay. How do you want to proceed, attorney?
Sure. I'm sorry, what was his name?
David Carlson?
Mr. Carlson, if you could, I know we can't see you, but if you could raise your right hand and wait for the clerk to swear you in.
Hello,
Yes, I'll
sir.
do that.
Hello, sir. Could you state your name for the record, please?
David Carlson.
And do you swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence that you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, Mr. Carlson, you can proceed with your testimony.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for allowing me to call in. I have known Haisan since 2013. My own personal background, grew up in a lot of trauma, made it out of that, graduated from high school, joined the military, did 2 tours of combat in Iraq. And then in 2010, after a pretty significant downward spiral, I committed several offenses, burglary, and was incarcerated. This is where I met Haisan. I was in a very bad headspace when I met him in 2013. Having been incarcerated, I was a sergeant on my second tour in Iraq, so I had, I'm also infantry, and so I had a substantial amount of responsibility. And then to be incarcerated where you have no freedom to make choices, you have very little responsibility except, over yourself. It was a drastic shift for me, and I had 2 different directions that I could go. And I can honestly credit the direction that I did go to, or partly at least, to my relationship that I built with Haisan. I was extremely angry. I am 70% service connected for PTSD, but I wasn't at that time. And I just had a lot of different challenges that could have gone the direction of me lashing out, me earning new criminal charges, me coming back into the community and being harmful. But in building a relationship with Haisan, he really helped me to develop through conversation, through spending time together, through working out together, the realization that regardless of everything that has occurred, I'm in the situation that I am now, and what am I going to make of it? And I believe that that comes from his own experience of having to move past the history that he has presented on today. And when I met him, there was no indication, there was no way that I would have ever guessed that the Haisan, at the time that he committed the offenses that earned him incarceration, and then eventually led us to meeting, that could possibly have been what he had done. And that's because he really helped me center myself and process through all of the negative stimulus, all of the negative emotion, just the hardships that you face while being incarcerated, especially if you're suffering from mental health challenges. And moving forward, after I was released in 2015, Haisan has remained a huge support for me throughout that time, and this is something that's easily verifiable. I started several businesses. I graduated from law school, and I actually took the bar a couple weeks ago, Wisconsin bar exam a couple weeks ago. I've done my character and fitness. I'm kind of going through a very similar process that Haisan is in front of you today going through. Bar exam results will come back September 3rd, and I'm hoping that I get the opportunity to be sworn in. And something that Haisan has said a couple different times in this hearing resonates really deeply with me, and it's because I want to add value. That's the reason that I went through the last 3.5 years of law school at Mitchell Hamlin. That is the reason that I've gone through the process of studying for the bar, taking the bar exam. Really, I want to better my family. I want to better my community. And I really want to help individuals that, for one reason or another, haven't been reached by the current resources that are out there for mental health, substance use, and even legal advocacy. And so, again, I think that I'm an example, and this is very easily verifiable right on a Google search. I'm a good example of the difference between where individuals like myself and Haisan stand now versus where we were when we made horrible mistakes. And so I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share Haisan's impact on my life. And I also want to emphasize that had I not met Haisan, I'm not sure that I would also be alive now. I'm not sure that any of the things that I've been able to create since being released from prison would even exist. I have a wife. I have 3 young boys, 6, 4, and 2 years old. And had there not been that perspective shift that I was able to undergo through the relationship that I built with Haisan, I'm not sure that any of that would exist. And so, again, adding value to the community is what we're here for. It's what everyone in this room is here for. And I think that Haisan being licensed is going to provide the opportunity for more value to be added to your community. And that's it. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak on Haisan's behalf.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the committee for our witness?
I do not.
Nope. Any from Attorney Erdman? All right, thank you so much, sir. All right, Mr. Williams, if you have any...
Thank you.
Yes. If you have any closing remarks, now would be the time.
Yeah, I do. And I thank you again, committee and all present. I wanted to briefly just address not only the chief's comments, but the city attorney's response to that. And the chief alluded to the ability to track or otherwise identify where one has been located. And while I understand a certain level of accountability for any business would be required, I don't know necessarily how that would if I'm not offending, if I'm not doing it, if I'm selling burgers and burritos, you'll know where there's a total amount of transparency and throughout technology, through my POS to know where one has been, where I have been. Again, this is a very public facing business. I can't park my food truck in a secluded place and lure people in for anything that might be untoward. I just wanted to speak to that because there appears to be the notion that I'm looking for my next victim. And contrary to that, I'm just looking for a place to make some money. And I have no interest other than that. I would ask the committee to consider my body of work as opposed to a day or a period of my life over 30 years ago. Clearly, I was from an environment that made that acceptable conduct. And throughout my incarceration, throughout the intervening years of maturity and growth, the notion of doing anything that is not honoring myself, my spirit, my family, my faith, understanding I'm not perfect, I don't claim to be, but my goals are rooted in building and adding value and not taking away from anything. I believe that since my offense, the accomplishments and the way I've lived my life since speak more than those isolated incidents. And I thank you all for your time. And I just, again, ask for you to make a decision that is according to the scope. I have to disagree with they don't check any of the boxes. There is no substantial relationship. And if you exclude away the rehabilitation element of my offense, there still is no substantial relationship between running my food truck and my offense. I say it half with a smile, not to be dismissive, but I really looked and tried to find a way to make a cogent argument that there is a substantial relationship, and I couldn't. And I challenged, I not challenged, but definitely believe that the committee would have difficulty finding that same substantial relationship.
Thank you. Yes. Any questions from the committee?
I have a question. Is there anything on your record in the last 10 years?
You answer me or him? Because I'll tell you no. I haven't had a conviction since 1996.
There's no conviction that we could locate.
Thank you.
More recently, we talked about some of the stuff
Yeah,
related to it, but
those are
not
parole
in-
violations are civil, not criminal. I
Right.
have nothing
No,
criminal.
No, there's no criminal conviction.
Thank you. Do the two of you plan to work together on the food truck?
Like today we had a big event, our biggest one. We were at the paper mill. She works with me. My wife's a school teacher. She's fully employed. I worked in supply chain, but again, I run into obstacles for employment at the level of management that I had been, where I got tired of, I had a leadership job denied me because of my past, I alluded to, and I really just wanted to start my own business. I got tired of having to ask for people to approve me. So I started my own business. And so to answer your question, we will occasionally, but no, not on a regular basis.
Will you be working alone?
Yes.
Mostly?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a relationship with your kids and your wife's kids? I don't know
I-
if I'm allowed to ask that.
If I could be frank with you, for the majority of my adult life, I consider myself a failure because I didn't raise my son. And within the last 5 years, I have learned that the things that I did while I wrote my son every day while I was locked up for the first 10 years of his life, and then every month, and he brags about me. Not because of anything that I had done, but because when his friends had dads that lived in the same house and the same city, they didn't work as hard as I did to be a part of his life. And the day he met the woman who was the mother of his child and is his wife, that was the first thing he told her about was me. So yes, I have a relationship with my son. I have a relationship with my stepchildren. I call them my bonus kids. I love them. I have the most full life one could imagine. Never thought I'd have the type of life I have.
And last question, are you still working for New Wave?
I can broker freight if I can get freight, but I am, no. It actively no.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, then we can close out the testimony portion of the hearing, and at this point, we would be able to move into closed session for deliberations.
Thank you. Thanks, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what will happen right now is we're going to go to closed session. We're going to be sending you folks out to area not outside there, but probably to the Riverview room.
Yes.
Remember, we have some situations where we'd rather they be someplace else.
Yes.
So
There's
Chief
a
or someone,
conference
can you guys
room.
take them that way?
I don't know anything about
Excuse me.
And then we will bring you back then, and
Can I submit this?
Yes, absolutely.
May I?
Yes, if you want to hand them to me.
they will let you know when we go back to regular session.
Some of the duties.
Sure, no, that's helpful.
If you're going to assess the substantial
Yep.
relationship.
Yep.
Thank you.
We'll add this to the record. Thank you.
All right. That said, please take notice that Finance Personnel Committee may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 1985 1A, deliberating concerning a case which was the subject of any judicial or quasi-judicial hearing, trial, or hearing before that governmental body. The Finance Personnel Committee may then reconvene thereafter in open session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 1985-2 to take action on any matter disclosed in closed session or for such other purposes as are allowed by law. I'll make a motion to go to closed session.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. Are you okay there? You're shrinking a little bit. Do we need a roll call vote or just?
Yes, roll call vote for
We need a
closed
roll
session.
call vote,
Sure.
please.
Alderperson P-Rack.
Aye.
Alderperson Gant.
Aye.
Mayor Boyd.
Aye.
Alderperson Kundig.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right. That said, I will make a motion to go back to regular session. Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Gantz. Need a roll on that, or is just a?
Voice vote's fine.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So we're back in regular session. So I'm going to state some things first, and we'll go from there. First, conclusions of law. The applicant, and I state this for the record, the applicant was convicted of felony second-degree sexual assault of a child under Wisconsin statutes 948.02 in 1996. Up next, after considering the facts and testimony presented, the Finance and Personnel Committee has found that the appellant's felony conviction, as described in paragraph 9, does not substantially relate to the license activity due to the amount of time that has passed from the date of the conviction and no subsequent offenses have occurred. Next, the applicant was convicted of an additional felony charges in 1996 for arson, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, and convicted of felony charges in 1991 for robbery with threat of force. After considering the facts and testimony presented, the Finance and Personnel Committee has found that the appellant has provided competent evidence of rehabilitation and fitness to perform the license activity. Determination. For the foregoing reasons, the Finance and Personnel Committee hereby reverses the denial and approves the issuance of the mobile food establishment license contingent on the appellant submitting evidence showing successful completion of probation for the applicable felony convictions. This is a final determination under Wisconsin Statute 6812 and 6813. That said, I would make a motion to approve the appeal of the applicant.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson P-Rock. Hoping, of course, that he does understand what he has to do. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So hopefully you understand what was stated and what you have to do to satisfy what we had done.
To whom
in the
would I
judgment.
submit that to,
If
sir?
you submit that to the clerk's office?
Yes.
Yes.
Chief?
Yes, Chief.
If I may, I can, I guess, testify if I'm still under oath. He has been successfully discharged from any active supervision. So I believe that has
Right.
been met.
That was established during testimony, but
Oh,
the
okay.
committee would like, just in past practice, we've been asking for physical
Documentation based on the
documentation.
last one we did.
Correct. Yep. And that'll conclude it.
Thank you, though, Chief. We really appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I want to thank right now all those who have stuck around. Obviously, we have Eric here, we have the chief here, we have Pam, Carrie was here as well too. We thank you for showing up, and obviously those who testified on your behalf. That said, I will then make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by me, second by Alderperson Gantz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're officially adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.